Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. So today I want to dedicate my time to talking about claustrophobia. Now, I think this is kind of an interesting phobia or mental illness because while it is extremely common, roughly 5 to 10% of the world population suffer from claustrophobia to some degree. Regardless of that, I feel like nobody talks about it. I feel like there's such few instances of relatable information on claustrophobia available. I feel like nobody's out there really raising awareness for it. So anyway, that's what I want to sit down and do today. I want to talk about my own personal experiences with claustrophobia, and I want to raise awareness for it. I am by no means an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not anything like that. I'm going to be referencing my own personal experiences and opinions with claustrophobia. So to start off, what is claustrophobia? It is defined as the fear of tight spaces and or crowded environments. Now, I don't really love this definition because while it is accurate, it's so vague. And I feel like when most people think about claustrophobia, they think about you being afraid of being locked in the closet, or being afraid of being stuffed in a box, or something like that. And they kind of get this idea in their head that, well, that's never going to happen to you, so you probably don't ever run into being, your claustrophobia. It probably never comes up in your life. It probably doesn't impact your life. And that is so untrue. Now, claustrophobia it has a multitude of different severities and different symptoms, and no two cases are exactly alike, but I think when somebody tells you they have claustrophobia, it's because they've experienced it outside of being locked in a closet. Now, I think that would honestly, to some degree, freak anybody out. But anyway, I just want to sit down and talk about it today. So a few more little facts about claustrophobia. It is usually developed in your childhood to early teenage years, for the most part. Now, personally, I have come to the belief that my claustrophobia stems from an event when I was a young child. I definitely wasn't a toddler, but I was a young girl. I was kind of around that age, and I went to the beach, and I was walking out into the water, and I slipped. I don't know if it was kind of off the ledge of the beach or in a hole or what it was, but I slipped and went underwater, and I couldn't get out. I was stuck. I was frantically trying to get up, so long story short, I almost drowned. My mother, thank goodness, was paying really close attention to us. She saw that I wasn't there. She could see my fingertips above the water. So she ran out there in her normal day clothes, ran into the water, grabbed me by my wrist, and picked me up. Now, she made sure I was okay. I was shooken up. I was scared, but I was fine. So we left. And that was basically it. I don't ever remember really talking about it or discussing it further from that. But I think that's where my claustrophobia stems. Now, I will also say, I believe certain events in my teenage years worsened my claustrophobia. I'm not really going to get into all of those because then this video would be so long. But I believe there were other instances aside from that worsened my claustrophobia. For a really long time, I did not know that I was claustrophobic. And that was a really big issue for me, and that's one of the biggest reasons I want to talk about this today. Because when I was little, and say I was walking through the hallway at school, or any instance where just a person or a crowd of people were really close to me, I would get angry. I'd get really, really angry and tense, and I didn't know how to explain what I was feeling. So I kind of came to the conclusion that I was just impatient, I was rude, I really just kind of got this negative image of myself, like, why am I like this? Why does this make me mad? It doesn't make any sense. Somebody will ask me why I'm mad and I can't explain it. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm mad. I'm a mad person. I don't know. And that was really bad for me. I'm really sad that it took me so long to kind of come to the realization that no, I am claustrophobic, and that's the reason I'm feeling this way. I want to talk about my own kind of symptoms of claustrophobia for a minute. Like I said, it can be different for anybody, but I think a lot of these symptoms are pretty common, and they're ones you don't really think about, I think. So anyway, Anyway, there are the obvious ones. I don't really like small spaces. I don't like big crowds, but it's more than that. You know, I'm not just scared. It makes me angry. It makes me really anxious. It makes my heart rate go up, my breathing go up. I mean, it'll make me sweat. It'll make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It'll make me shiver. It'll give me goosebumps. It's a visible thing that if anyone is paying attention to me, they can see that I'm really uncomfortable. I avoid the main aisles in grocery stores to be away from people. I avoid elevators because I don't like being around people. One of my biggest triggers is people walking behind me. Now, especially if it's somebody I don't know, it makes it a lot worse, but if I know, like say out of the corner of my eye, I see somebody and they're coming towards me, I'm not going to look at them and stare at them. That'd be weird, right? But I'm going to watch them out of the corner of my eye. And when they come behind me, I have to like force myself to sit still and to not appear that I'm tensing up, because it will make me like shiver. It'll make the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and I will visibly shiver if I don't kind of try to hide it. And that one's really, really common. I don't like people being behind me when I'm sitting down. I always want to sit with my back to the wall. As you can see, that's where I choose to record my videos for more than one reason, but that's definitely part of it. Another big one is I hate people touching me. Now, this is mostly with strangers, but it's with some family members too. Now, obviously this is one I kind of come to control on my own. Like, I understand when a family member is touching me, they're doing it to be sweet. They're doing it to, you know, to comfort me, you know, depending on the situation. And I always appreciate it. And I'm a hugger. I love hugs. But at the same time, there are just times when someone is standing too close to me, or like, I don't want you to stand there with your arm around me. Like, I need my space. I want you back away from me. And it's developed in this sense of like paranoia. Like, when I see somebody, especially a stranger, walking at me, it's the same thing. I won't stare at them, but I make sure I can see them out of the corner of my eye. And I make sure that they're not going to touch me. And I want to keep people out of my space. And I'm always making sure I know where the exits are. And I'm always like planning for worst case scenario. Like, what am I going to do if this person touches me? What am I going to do if they grab me? Or if they try to steal my purse? Or if they attack me? Like, what is my game plan? What am I going to do? How am I going to get to an open area? How am I going to get more space? How am I going to get away from this person? I guess it's just something that's always been in the back of my mind, or has been there long enough that it just feels normal to me, that I don't really think about it. I don't necessarily like hate it or worry about it. It's just something I just constantly, consciously think about. And it's not that I'm scared of people or that I hate people or anything like that. I don't know. It's just like I need to know. I think it's kind of a control thing. Like, I want to know what's happening. I want to be in control of who's around me, and that really, really helps me. Another big one that I do personally is if I'm, say, at the grocery store and I am shopping by myself and I'm surrounded by strangers. I have recently realized that one of the things I do, and I think it's like a coping mechanism or a self-defense kind of mechanism, but I will stand up very, very straight, and I walk with confidence, and I just kind of have this unapproachable, like, I'm on a mission sort of expression on my face. And I do this to kind of keep people from touching me, from approaching me, from getting in my space. And I'll be honest, I don't like that I do that. I don't like it, because I'm a very, very friendly person. I love people. I make friends, and I talk to strangers all the time, and I have no problem with it. But I've realized that I do this to keep people back, just to kind of claim my space and keep people out of my space. And then I'm totally different if I'm with somebody who I feel safe with. Like, if I'm shopping with my dad or my brother or my boyfriend or out with them or whatever I'm doing, I'm not like that. You know, I'm much friendlier, I'm smiling, and I'm kind of being cute, and I'm joking around, and I think I'm still kind of watching people. I still don't want people walking behind me, but I'm more relaxed. And now, on the other side of that, if I'm with somebody, say, smaller than me, or somebody I feel very protective over, like one of my sisters, it's almost kind of worse. It's like I'm not only looking out for myself and making sure nobody touches me or invades my space, but I'm also making sure nobody touches the person I'm with or gets in their space or messes with them. And I'm like looking around like twice as much, like just making sure nothing is going to happen. I'm planning, like, what if something happens? What am I going to do? What would I do in this situation or that situation? And it's not like it's overpowering or it's the only thing I'm thinking about, but it's always kind of in the back of my mind. It's like it's always there a little bit. I'm always kind of conscious of it. And, you know, some days are worse than others. I don't know, it just really kind of depends. So anyway, like I said, my intentions with this video is to raise awareness, to share my story. I'm not a professional, I'm not a psychologist, but if I was going to give any unprofessional, unsolicited advice to anybody watching this video who also has claustrophobia, the biggest thing I've done that has absolutely helped me in dealing with it is explaining myself and my claustrophobia to the people around me, to my friends and my close family members. You know, they know that I have claustrophobia now, and so, like, I'll give you an example. I'll have my wonderful editor pop a picture here of my bathroom. Now, as you can see, it's pretty small, so I don't necessarily like it when people are in there with me. That's one place where when I'm in there, I'm kind of stressed all the time. I want to do what I'm in there for and get out, you know, especially if somebody else is in there with me. Now, that being said, when my sister comes over, that's kind of somewhere where we hang out. Like, she'll watch me do my makeup or whatever it is. I'll show her something I bought. And I'm okay if she kind of stays by the door, but if she comes further into the bathroom or she kind of leans on the toilet or gets near the sink, I get really stressed out. I start getting angry. I start getting tense. You know, when I was a child, I reacted to feeling that way by lashing out at people with anger because I didn't understand it. And now I understand that it's claustrophobia, so I can kind of relax and I can tell her, like, hey, I know this is weird and it doesn't really make sense, but I just feel like you standing there is stressing me out. I just don't like it, so could you please back up for me? And I'm super, super lucky to have a sister who's extremely understanding, and she has no problem with it. She's like, yeah, okay, and she backs up for me. And she is very accommodating to me, and I'm super lucky to have that. And that has helped me more than anything, you know? So, like, when a friend asks me, hey, do you want to sit on the inside of the booth at this restaurant? No, I don't. To be honest, I would much rather sit on the outside. And I'll explain to them, like, I'm not just being selfish, I'm not trying to be a princess or anything, you know? I just genuinely would feel more comfortable, I would feel safer if I were on the outside of the booth. Just little things like that. I think people are more understanding than at least I initially expected. I didn't think people would really believe me. I didn't think they would understand it, and some people don't, and that's fine. But it's worth it. It's worth it to ask. It's worth it to tell people and try to educate my friends and my family. I will also throw this in there because, again, I'm not a professional, so if your symptoms are to the point that they interrupt your daily life, I would suggest that you seek professional help. Now, I know that that's kind of a scary or touchy subject, but it really can do a lot of good, and that's all I want to say about that. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you are not, please subscribe to my channel, Let's Be Real. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. I try to upload every single week. Like this video, please. That helps me out so much. And before you go, hit that comment section. Let me know, are you claustrophobic? Do you have a family member or friend who's claustrophobic? Why do you think people don't talk about it? Let me know your story. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you have any questions, something I should cover better. That helps me out a ton. And I think that's everything. So thank you again for watching this whole video and making